Babylon, a great city built on a hill. Wait, except for the fact that it was actually great, but it wasn't built on a hill. Babylon was a prosperous and successful city, which meant the personal and financial prosperity of most of its citizens are mostly above average incomes. Babylon was an ancient city located on the lower Euphrates River in southern Mesopotamia. Within modern day era, it had everything from riches to whatever you can think of for a successful city. At a point in time, it was even estimated that Babylon was the largest city in the world. And perhaps, they say, it was the first city to reach a population above 200,000 people. Interesting. All things, whether good or bad, eventually comes to an end or change over time. And Babylon was no exception. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S Classon walks us through how the people of Babylon were able to build wealth from nothing. Like the laws of gravity, the ways of obtaining wealth are universal and unchanging. And today, we talk about the 7 cures for Olympus. Please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click on the like button. Thank you. So, after King Sagon had spent a lot of gold in building the city and making the lives of the people a better one, the king was furious to find out, upon all these improvements and infrastructures in the city, yet the people were still struggling with their lives, unable to feed themselves. The king then realized all the gold spent in building the city has filtered through the fingers of most of his people into the possession of a few rich men in the city. This left the king in a state of confusion, whether to condemn that act and personally distribute wealth equally among his people. Out of anger and frustration, the king then asked, why should so few people acquire all the gold? To which his chancellor replied, because they know how to. One may not condemn a man for succeeding because he knows how to. Neither may one with justice take away from a man what he has fairly earned, to give men of less ability. In this situation, King Sagon actually found out that his people lacked the basic knowledge in wealth building. Now, someone was needed to teach the people. Arad, the richest man in the city, of course, was suggested by the chancellor. In the beginning, Arad was just a layman with nothing, but has gradually built his way to the top. He appeared before King Sagon. The king was curious with tons of questions. How did you build your wealth? He asked him. How did you become rich? Where did you pass? Can it be taught? To which Arad replied, it is practical, your majesty. The only way to understand how to build wealth is to start to build wealth. To which he laid down the 7 principles to cure Olympus. Start thy purse to fattening. If you want to build wealth, the best place to start is the money already in. Whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, a trader, a salesman, or even a nurse, it doesn't matter. Once you are still employed and have a source of income, the best way to fatten your purse is to ensure you grow the gap between your spending and earning. Arad said, for every 10 coins you put into your purse, you only spend 9. A 10% savings rate is a great way to start. If your income is low and you're struggling to pay your bills, maybe I guess you start at 1%, and maybe 2 if your income is high, and sure, you can do more than 10%. The message is that you save a portion of your income or pay yourself first. Isn't it amazing how the amount we all earn and know the same are very different from each other, but yet we all do sometimes go broke? What exactly do we spend our money on? What consumes so much of our hard-earned paycheck? Most of the things we call our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes or eventually surpass it. Arad said, all wants are desires. Each of you, together with your family, have more desires than your earnings can gratify. Therefore, we spend our earnings trying to gratify these desires as far as they go. Once our paycheck increases, automatically our desires and wants also increases. So even after spending the paycheck to gratify all these desires, we still have more desires and wants. Sometimes our expenses are so high to the extent that at the end of the day, we do have more days to go at the end of the paycheck. If you sit down and look at where every dollar is going, you're going to find a lot of waste. Of course, I know because I did that. Make thy gold multiply. A man's wealth is not in the purse he carries, it's the income he builds, the golden stream that continually flows into his purse and keeps it always barging. Gold in the purse is gratifying to own and satisfies a measly soul, but earns nothing. The gold we may retain from one earnings is but the start. The earnings it will make shall build our fortune. What is the usefulness of having a lot of cash in the bank and this cash are unable or are not working to multiply themselves? True wealth is built on the basis of multiple streams of income, most precisely incomes that earns themselves with or without your presence. After cutting down expenses and saving more, inflation tends to devalue your currency, and the only way to stay ahead of the curve is to invest them. Guard that treasure from loss. It's so true. People with a lot of money are always insecure and anxious. They feel at any particular point in time, people are trying to steal from them. Money is so valuable, and there are people out there who really want to earn them without putting in much effort. They create all sorts of Ponzi schemes or pyramid schemes just to get it out of your pocket. Most of the time, promising high returns on a low investment with an even lower risk, which is a very obvious statement. Don't invest in a friend's business just because it's a friend. It's important to invest your money, but don't do it blindly. Before you make any investment, make sure you understand it. Buying a real estate, run all the numbers, talk to a professional, drive through the neighborhood and get a property inspection. Make thy dwelling a profitable investment. Arad argues that people pay high rent for small spaces and they are better off owning their home. Having a home is not any form of investment. It doesn't provide any flowing income, and the only returns is appreciation, which is often not guaranteed. Owning a house is a liability, but in most cases, it helps eliminate monthly rent expenses. Ensure a future income. Life is very uncertain. At some point, you won't be able to work anymore, and that time too is very uncertain. It can happen at any particular moment from now. Being it an accident, old age, or any sickness, build multiple streams of income that will keep flowing with or without your presence. Create an online business, start a business and build a system around it. Get royalties from your songs or books or etc. Do whatever it takes to make money. The last cure for Olympus. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that like button and comment whether you like it or not, how you felt about the video. This helps me to improve more and more. Thank you. Let's get back to the last one. Increase the ability to earn. Stretch forth your arms and increase the ability to earn. For a man to be rich is of little purpose. First figure out how to earn $5, then how to earn $10. Continue from there. Define your desires and wants so you can create a right process to follow. Declaring to be rich doesn't make you rich instantly. Declaring you want to earn $10,000 in the next 3 months gives you somewhere to start building a process, but doesn't give you a bank alert of $10,000 in the next 3 months. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Winners and losers have the same goal. The difference between the two is that winners have a process. Choose your path. Once you define your goal and process, start acquiring knowledge. The more of wisdom we know, the more we may earn. That a man who seeks to learn more of his craft will be richly rewarded. Please hit the subscribe button.